The story begins in a serene academy, where the atmosphere is calm and peaceful. The students are engaged in their daily routines, and everything feels orderly. However, this tranquility is shattered by a sudden, violent explosion that shakes the very foundation of the academy. The explosion is so intense that it creates an overwhelming sense of fear and panic. As a result, a young man is thrown far from the epicenter of the blast, and his condition appears dire. The bullies around him, seeing his plight, comment with disbelief, expressing how they never imagined the situation would turn out this badly. One of the bullies, a boy dressed in green, nonchalantly remarks, "You can only handle basic magic. You can only endure this attack by yourself." His tone is mocking, and he says it with a sense of humor, as if Haruto's struggle is some sort of trivial matter. Haruto, however, says nothing in response, choosing to remain silent. But with a piercing look, he quietly asks, "Isn't this enough? Give me back what you said. I've given you everything you asked for." At this point, the boy in green, with a sense of amusement, shows Haruto a special package of food, saying, "This is a very unique burger. There are only 50 pieces available every day, and it's quite special." Haruto looks at the package, silently acknowledging its rarity. Just as he thinks the situation might be over, another boy in the group points out that there is no cold drink accompanying the meal, demanding, "Where's the cold drink? You didn't bring it with you." With that, he attacks Haruto again, and in a cruel twist, the boy declares, "As punishment, you have to serve us once more, and you will provide us with food twice." The attack is brutal, sending Haruto crashing to the ground once again. His physical state is even worse than before, and he can barely stand, much less defend himself. One of the bullies remarks coldly, "You look incredibly weak, and honestly, you are weak. It's clear that you're not meant for this place." Just as the bullying continues, a mysterious, beautiful girl appears, walking towards the group with an air of authority. Her eyes, shining with an otherworldly golden glow, settle on the bullies. With a single word, she commands their attention, saying, "Stop." Upon hearing her voice, the bullies immediately shrink back in fear. They exchange nervous glances before quickly running away, muttering, "She's part of the discipline community. We can't take any chances with her. She could cause us serious harm." Realizing the danger, they retreat as quickly as they can, leaving Haruto alone with the girl. Her name is Shino, and she approaches Haruto, her face filled with concern. She asks, "Haruto, how are you? Are you okay?" Haruto, still reeling from the attack, responds quickly, his voice hoarse, "Stop worrying about me. If you stay with me, you might get hurt too, and you'll end up being thrown out just like I will." Shino, undeterred, replies gently, "I don't care about that. I'm just worried about you." Haruto, still trying to maintain his composure, responds, "We can't live together here. It's not that simple. I'm of low rank, and you're a member of the committee. It's not appropriate for us to associate with each other like this." Shino, looking visibly upset, stops calling him by name and gives him a sorrowful look. Despite her concern, Haruto doesn't seem to want her to care for him. She turns away, knowing that he is in a difficult place, mentally and physically. The atmosphere shifts, and we return to the academy, where the other students are now gossiping about Haruto's situation. The students discuss how Haruto, a special student with no magic abilities, somehow made it into this prestigious academy. One student speculates, he must have somehow gotten in through some sort of mistake or loophole. There has to be something wrong with the school's scoring system. Another student comments, if there were no errors in the scoring system, there's no way someone without magic could have entered such a high-level school. Haruto overhears these whispers, and his frustration grows. He silently questions himself. How did I even make it into this school? I have no magic abilities. It was a mistake for me to be here. This is a top-tier school, and I don't belong. My parents enrolled me here, but they're gone now. They're no longer around to talk about it, and it's too late to change anything now. He continues reflecting on his situation. I don't have any magic abilities, but because of this, I'm unable to take any magic courses. That's why I've been assigned the role of a swordsman. I'm a swordsman, and that's all I am. He contemplates, in a world where magic reigns supreme, how can I, a mere swordsman, stand up to the power of magic? What good is my sword against magic? Haruto's thoughts turn dark as he recalls the bullies' taunts. They call him the God of Plagues, a nickname given to him due to his perceived weakness and his bad reputation. He opens the door to his apartment, and there, lying on the floor, is a black letter sealed with a glowing blue seal. He picks it up, intrigued by the unusual letter, and wonders who could have sent it. There is no name on it, nor any indication of where it came from. Curious and somewhat anxious, Haruto opens the letter. As he breaks the seal, a brilliant blue light bursts out, pulling him in. He screams in surprise, asking, "What is happening?" The light grows even more intense, and Haruto feels himself being drawn into the letter. The light becomes overwhelming, and he is pulled inside, causing him to lose his sense of reality. When Haruto opens his eyes again, he finds himself in a dazzling new world, unlike anything he has ever seen. He is standing on the surface of a vast, tranquil sea. He looks around, confused, and asks aloud, "Where am I?" A shadowy figure appears before him, its form glowing brightly. The figure speaks. "This is the year 2054, according to the Western calendar. You are 16 years old, Haruto. Is that correct?" Haruto, still stunned, replies, "Yes, you're right. I'm Haruto, and I'm 16 years old." The figure introduces itself. "I am you, from the future. I've come to send you a letter from your future." Haruto is shocked, struggling to comprehend what he is hearing. The figure continues, "In the next 10 years, you will become so powerful that you will learn to manipulate space and time." Haruto stares in disbelief, unable to speak. The figure goes on, "We don't have much time. I'm here to train you, to help you become the magician of space and time that you are destined to be." Haruto, still skeptical, thinks to himself, "I have no idea what this crazy person is saying." The figure, sensing his doubt, reassures him, "I know you're suspicious, but trust me. I am you, and I know what you're capable of." It then tells him, "Your first task is to go to Shijugu Garden, to the F-rank region. There, you'll find me again, and I'll give you more guidance." Haruto, now with a sense of purpose, embarks on his journey to the dungeon, following the instructions on the mysterious card. Upon arriving, he finds a signboard that reads, "No entry." He questions whether this is really worth it. As he hesitates, the letter's voice urges him, "If you're joking with me, you know the consequences." Haruto places the letter into a hole in the wall as instructed. Suddenly, a blue light bursts forth, and the wall opens up like a door. Haruto steps inside, amazed by what he sees. He finds himself in a large chamber with a massive, chained crystal floating in the center of the room. The voice from the letter explains, "This is a skill cube, a device that grants abilities to those who touch it. You've already seen your skill. Now, touch it to claim the power you seek." As Haruto touches the cube, the room begins to change. The color shifts from blue to red, and the crystal seems to crack open. A cube emerges and flies toward the sky, while the entire room glows in a red light. Bricks start moving, forming something unfamiliar. Suddenly, a hand materializes, and Haruto watches in awe as a 20-foot golem takes shape. The creature is menacing and powerful. It attacks Haruto, sending him flying across the room, injuring him severely. A laser-like beam emerges from the golem's attack, but Haruto survives. Haruto, weakened and in pain, wonders, "What is happening to me? Am I dying?" He begins to lose consciousness and feels a burning sensation spreading throughout his body. He looks at a picture of his parents and says, "I'm coming to join you, Mama, Papa." The letter glows again and asks, "Haruto, is everything all right? You're a failure in school, and you're dying because of my trick. Are you satisfied with this fate?" These words shake Haruto to his core. He realizes that his life has been filled with suffering and humiliation, but now he refuses to accept death. The letter tells him, "If you truly want to change your life, fight back. Stand up to this challenge. This is your life, and you have the power to change it." Despite his injuries, Haruto rises. Bloodied but determined, he faces the golem. As he stands, a seal opens and a light floods the room. A panel appears, announcing, "The Magician of Space and Time quest has been unlocked." The requirement is fulfilled, and Haruto's death is reversed. A strange power flows through Haruto's body as the blue light surrounds him. He feels invigorated, his body undergoing a transformation as the energy of space and time infuses him with new strength. The power is overwhelming, and Haruto realizes that his journey has just begun. As Haruto awakens, he feels an unfamiliar energy coursing through his body. To his astonishment, a panel appears, revealing a hidden quest that has now been unlocked, granting him the powers of space and time magic. The necessary conditions have been met. A scene unfolds in front of him, a crystal, cracked and on the verge of shattering. With a powerful force, it bursts, scattering its brilliant pieces in every direction. These fragments shimmer like diamonds, reflecting the light with a dazzling intensity. The light grows stronger, morphing into a laser-like beam that moves towards Haruto. The brilliance of the light is so overwhelming that it conceals his form. Golem, who had been observing from a distance, freezes. The energy emanating from the crystal ceases to affect him, as if time itself has paused. When the light finally fades, a shadow emerges, Haruto's silhouette, now suffused with the energy of the new era. His body is imbued with power, glowing with a vibrant blue light. As the energy continues to fill him, Haruto realizes the extent of his newfound abilities. The power of space-time magic has fully awakened within him. His body feels enhanced, his material form improved, and the requirements for the magic's activation have been fulfilled. The panel flashes, revealing his first skill, a passive ability that grants him a 30% increase in potential power. As Haruto inspects the flowing light in his hand, he reads a message that resonates in his mind. The letter explains that the power he now wields was unlocked by getting close to death, an experience that enabled him to transcend his previous limitations. Despite his initial shock, Haruto stands firm, processing the gravity of his transformation. The letter continues, revealing that no one else could have unlocked this power for another decade. Only Haruto, chosen by fate, could have completed this quest. As he questions the source of his powers, Haruto confronts the letter. "You told me you're from the future. Is this true?" The letter responds warmly, confirming that Haruto's condition has improved dramatically. His first tutorial in mastering the space-time abilities. Meanwhile, Golem prepares to attack. Haruto's gaze shifts towards the impending threat. Golem launches an attack, but before it can land, Haruto is lifted into the air, surrounded by brilliant blue light. He marvels at the sensation his body feels light, almost as though he's become a superhero. He questions whether this newfound power is linked to the passive skill he acquired from the space-time magic. As Haruto descends, Golem attacks again, but this time, Haruto dodges effortlessly. The light from his body pulses as the letter's voice guides him, instructing him to feel the flow of time and space with his body, not his eyes. The more Haruto focuses, the more he begins to understand the true nature of his abilities. In a split second, Haruto closes his eyes and allows his body to feel the incoming threat. When Golem moves forward, as he moves, a glowing, golden light radiates from his eyes, and electricity begins to crackle around him. His connection to the flow of time and space becomes clearer, and with it, a new power awakens within him. His reaction time becomes instantaneous, enabling him to dodge Golem's attacks and even climb onto his arm. Surprising both himself and Golem, Haruto's movements are almost unreal. In the blink of an eye, Haruto activates a new ability, Quick Body Level 1. With newfound speed, he moves with incredible swiftness, attacking Golem with a glowing sword. The sword strikes deep, and Haruto watches as Golem's core, a cube of energy, begins to crack. Golem's eyes flash brightly, and in an instant, the mechanical giant collapses. Its core shattered into pieces. Haruto lands gracefully on the ground, his body still pulsing with energy. As Haruto surveys the destruction, the mission's quest is marked as complete. His level has increased, and his swordsmanship skill is now at level 8. Despite completing only the tutorial, Haruto is filled with a sense of accomplishment and a growing hunger for more power. The letter asks him if he now believes in the prophecy. Haruto's response is unwavering. Yes, I believe. The letter, now more personal, reveals the next step in Haruto's journey. To advance, he must escape the dungeon and save himself. But there's a warning. Rain, a figure connected to the past, will die today, slain by a monster. The letter urges Haruto to act, to use his newfound powers to change the course of fate. Haruto, shocked and hesitant, begins to understand the magnitude of his mission. With the future uncertain and the weight of his choices heavy on his shoulders, he steps forward. He must decide whether to change history and save Rain from certain death. After this, the letter continues to urgently implore him to save the girl, insisting that this action is the key to altering his entire future. Consumed by a frantic madness, Haruto departs from his location. The letter then addresses him directly, revealing the current date to be March 23, 2054. It reminds him that the dungeon he is entering is only D rank, but that the unexpected appearance of a C rank monster has drastically increased the danger to hair life. This unforeseen event will lead to Rain's certain death, leaving nothing of him behind. The narrative shows Rain, and Haruto is depicted recalling a mental image of him in what feel like his own final moments. The letter further explains to Haruto, a patient from the future, that while her companions will attempt to cast a spell, it will be futile. It states that all of them will be killed, and it urges Haruto to save them immediately to change this future. We then see Haruto running through the streets, heading directly for the D rank dungeon. Upon his approach, he quiets the letter's voice in his mind. Once he arrives, he confronts the letter, demanding to know why he wasn't informed sooner of Rain's delicate mental state and the imminent danger. The letter retorts that Haruto was the one who initially insisted on cutting off all contact with everyone, believing he would bring them harm, and now questions why he is so worried and angry, and why Rain is so important that he would fight for her. As this conversation concludes, a shadowy figure, a group of goblins guarding the dungeon, appears before him. Though feeling isolated, Haruto recognizes its power as it attacks him with a terrifying visage. While still engaging with the letter, he is told not to act weak. In response, Haruto draws his sword and begins to attack the advancing goblins, defeating them all. The letter advises him to flee the area quickly, explaining that the future can still be changed if he acts according to its guidance. After eliminating the goblins, Haruto retreats to ensure his own safety and to save Rana. He then silences the letter, declaring firmly that he will do what must be done and save Rain. The scene then shifts to the deepest floor of the D rank dungeon, where a massive blue explosion, likely caused by a monster, has just occurred. A beautiful girl is seen falling from a distance away from the blast. This is revealed to be Haruto, who has fallen and is in shock after being defeated. Her teammates express their surprise that she, the most powerful among them, has fallen. As she continues to fall and break through the floor, the onlookers are horrified by the monster's power and shout promises and pleas for her to get up. As she slightly opens her eyes, the monster is fully revealed. A knight made of fire named Dark Sentinel, wearing a helmet. His teammates then begin to formulate a plan to defeat it. Of the group, the blue-haired teammate expresses a newfound belief that they can still be saved and the monster defeated, while also questioning why this information was withheld from them earlier. A girl then declares her intention to use a rescue spell to save herself and summon help. Another very strategic girl addresses her teammates with courage, urging everyone to calm down and be brave. She insists that if they attack the knight together, their chances of victory will increase. However, a boy contradicts her, voicing his terror and the certainty that they are all going to die. He then steps forward to confront the knight, drawing a sword that emits a black energy and attacks with a defiant shout. The strategic girl argues back that this is not the time for helplessness. They must now choose to fight or die. As they clash with the knight, his counterattack sends all of them flying through the air and crashing to the ground as if they were insignificant rodents. The strategic girl, identified as Rana, struggles to maintain her composure as she sees all her friends, including ones with green and yellow hair, now unconscious and lying on the ground. One of them calls out to her, pleading for Rana to save them. This plea rekindles her hope, and she stands up with great difficulty, determined to fight until her last breath. She attacks the knight with power channeled through her staff, unleashing fire. The knight easily deflects her attack, rendering it useless. Rana is left terrified, unsure of what will happen to her. The knight raises its sword as Rana stands helpless, letting out a scream for someone to save her. At that moment, Haruto arrives, activating a shield that blocks the knight's attack and saves her. He tells Rana to move back and let him handle the fight, ordering her to get away. Rana, covered in blood with her vision blurred by tears and wounds, is shocked and tells her to turn back, insisting he can handle it himself. Confused, she nevertheless retreats. Haruto's shield shatters, and he prepares to fight the knight alone. He draws his sword and a fierce duel begins. He skillfully dodges an attack from the knight that seems powerful enough to cut through a mountain, creating distance to avoid its long-range projectiles. The knight attacks again, and Haruto moves in close to try and weaken it, parrying a blow with his own sword. He quickly realizes the knight's defenses are too strong and that he cannot win through direct combat. He must find a weak spot to have any chance of defeating it. After landing another blow with no effect, Haruto realizes the knight's shield is impenetrable and fears he will be killed. He continues to fight, frantically searching for a weak spot by striking at its stomach, head, and arms, but to no avail. During the assault, his own sword begins to crack and then shatters completely. He looks at the broken weapon in disbelief. The knight then begins to glow with a pink energy, using its helmet to forge a new, powerful sword. It launches a massive attack, creating a large pink explosion that Haruto barely avoids by activating a power called Quick Body, which allows him to move to safety on the other side of the room. He stands there, weaponless, having failed to damage the knight despite his efforts. A realization dawns on him. The sword in the knight's hand is its weak spot. As the knight turns to attack again, Haruto quiets his own panic. He focuses his energy to form a new blade of his own. Instead of attacking the knight directly, he targets its helmet. In a final gambit, he cancels his own energy sword at the last second and rams the hilt into the helmet itself. The helmet cracks under the force. The knight's form shatters, its light extinguished, until it crumbles into an inert piece of stone. Haruto moves back, exhausted, and declares that he has won. His sword has been transformed through the act. A voice, likely from the letter, tells him that he has changed his future. From a distance, a shocked voice calls out, asking if the person standing there is truly Haruto. The scene then shifts entirely, and Rana demands to know what is happening, asking Haruto to explain everything to her. She states that she should be thankful to him for saving her, and her friends from death, and formally says thank you. Haruto replies that it does not matter and that he was simply there to save her. Haruto then puts his hand out in front of her and pleads with her to keep her secret and not tell anyone what he did, feeling he must keep it hidden. She appears to feel shy and is deep in thought. Haruto agrees to her request, sensing that she is worried about her secret being revealed. Rana moves closer to him and asks how he obtained his power. Haruto appears to be very confused by the question and gives a vague answer. Rana listens and then asks what he means, prompting Haruto also to ask her to keep his secret. Rana then notices the letter and also asks about it, urging him to keep it a secret. As she reads the letter, she repeats her request for secrecy. The letter itself seems to manifest and speak, revealing itself. Haruto thinks that he will tear the letter, wanting to keep its existence hidden as it is being revealed against his will. Rana identifies this as the core problem. Haruto then explains that he is receiving training from the letter. Rana says she understands and promises not to tell anyone about it. She is left thinking about the fact that he is being trained by the letter. Later, Haruto goes to his class and thinks that revealing his secret was a mistake and that he should not have told anyone. He reflects that he cannot change the past, a thought that repeats in his mind. As he stands up, a sound comes from behind him. It is a noise reminiscent of a bull, and it is directed at him. The god of plague is invoked. The same bullies who always annoy and trouble him are there. 3 boys call him over, order him to serve them, and then question him. They ask why he went to the dungeon yesterday, why he ran away powerlessly without using his abilities, and why he left like a coward. One of the bullies concludes that this is common for him, asking how he could have stayed when he needed to train for the next boss and progress forward. The bullies continue to laugh and insult him. Wondering if anyone besides Rana witnessed his actions, one of the bullies then shifts the topic, claiming that a friend of his was seriously injured in the dungeon yesterday and is now in the hospital with very high medical expenses. He declares that Haruto will have to pay for all of it, and if he does, they will not tell anyone. It will be good for him. Haruto simply stands there, silently listening to their threats and analyzing them without giving any answer. To intimidate him, one of the bullies activates his power, lighting a flame in his hand, and demands Haruto respond or else they will make him move. Finally, Haruto shouts for them to stop, stating he has tolerated enough. The bullies are surprised and angered that he dared to answer back, demanding to know what he said. In a furious state, Haruto repeats that he told them to stop and that he has tolerated enough, accusing them of not being deaf. As the first bully tries to stab him, Haruto senses the attack, activates his own powers, and effortlessly dodges before moving forward. His eyes turn blue and his energy flow dramatically increases. In an instant, he defeats all 3 of them and stands on the other side. The bullies are now surprised and terrified, nervously asking what just happened and how he did that. Haruto warns them to never come near him again, stating that if they have any courage, they will stay away, or the next time will be worse. He then takes all of their weapons, showing them that he now possesses their things. He declares the items are his and promises to return them only when their issues are settled between them, and only if their arrangement remains a secret. He warns them that it will be very bad for them if they cross him again. He fixes them with a look of intense anger, stating that this should not happen again and that any future incidents will end worse for them than this encounter did. The bullies, who were once the ones harassing and humiliating him, are now terrified and completely under his control. He stands confidently in the corridor and declares that no one will harass him from now on. With the confrontation over, he decides to go to class to attend a lecture. The scene shifts to the classroom, where the instructor informs the students that they will be taking a test to measure their magical capacity using a special device, a magic mirror. All the students are surprised by this announcement. The instructor explains that the mirror will check their magic capacity in the right way and will do so with great accuracy. The instructor then calls on a boy named Kenjuyo-kun, who is our hero, Haruto. He replies and steps forward. In that moment, he remembers the last time his magic capacity was measured. It was 0, a result that caused him immense embarrassment and public humiliation. Now, he feels sure that things have changed completely and that his magic capacity must be different. He steps in front of the mirror, confident in the power he now wields. As the test begins, he stands before the glass, thinking about his command over time magic and believing he will be successful. After a moment, he touches the mirror. Upon contact, all his powers activate. He begins to glow very brightly, his hands surging with energy. As his hands become full of this power, his eyes turn a piercing blue. and he sees the energy from his hands flowing into the mirror with incredible intensity. The moment his powers activate, the teacher is stunned by their intensity. A brilliant light fills the room, culminating in a massive burst of energy that causes the magic mirror to shatter completely. This is a profound shock, as the glass was specifically designed to measure the highest possible power levels without breaking. The instructor is utterly bewildered by what occurred, repeatedly stating that the glass should not have broken. The entire class is also left to wonder how it happened, speculating on the immense power required to cause such damage. He feels intense embarrassment over the incident. The students behind him are whispering that this is unprecedented, discussing and debating it amongst themselves. Haruto concludes there is no reason for him to remain standing there. The scene then shows that Rain is laughing because she knows the secret behind what happened, while the rest of the students are merely surprised. The scene shifts again as the school day ends and the academy empties. Everyone is discussing the event, referring to the god of plague who broke the unbreakable ring. They question how it is possible, with some students theorizing that hidden magic powers exist within him that will only be fully understood much later. They conclude that if he truly caused this, his rank must be at least a level, a highly elite designation. Haruto listens to all this, facing the chatter, and thinks that the things happening now are completely different and separate from the humiliation he is used to. Now, people are surprised by him, which is a good but shocking change. Suddenly, someone calls his name, Haruto, shocking him. As he turns around, a voice tells him to look here. He sees a small animal holding a phone, trying to talk to him. He is utterly surprised, asking himself what this is. The animal explains that it is the entity from the letter, which has now taken this form to communicate with him more easily. Haruto realizes it is the letter's voice and asks if it is really him, questioning how he changed his form. The creature explains that it used the space-time magic stored at Haruto's house to alter its form. Haruto keeps asking for an explanation on how this was achieved, but the hedgehog form letter interrupts him urgently. It tells Haruto to listen, that there is a big emergency right now and no time to waste. It then delivers a critical warning: a dragon is coming. Their serious faces are shown, and the narrative underscores that this is very bad news. The dragon will indeed destroy everything. The hedgehog elaborates that the dragon will first destroy the Ares area, causing catastrophic damage. A scene of the dragon is shown, its form casting a massive shadow punctuated by ominous red lights. As the vision rewinds, it shows countless people lying lifelessly on the ground, likely having perished. The hedgehog declares that Haruto must fight it, explaining the dragon is an alpha-level target capable of killing anyone at any time, making it extremely dangerous. The dragon scene is shown again, radiating a sense of peril so profound that no human. The hedgehog declares that Haruto must fight it, explaining the dragon is an alpha-level target capable of killing anyone at any time, making it extremely dangerous. The dragon scene is shown again, radiating a sense of peril so profound that no human seems capable of stopping it with their power alone. The hedgehog states that this aligns with what he knew in his future. It is an alpha-level destruction. He will destroy everything, the hedgehog insists, emphasizing that the dragon is coming very soon. Much sooner than in the future he originated from. This dragon is exceptionally dangerous. As he explains this, the hedgehog, who is Haruto's future self, creates a very intense and urgent atmosphere. Haruto is in shock, trying to process the words destruction and dragon, and asks if this is really true. The hedgehog confirms that it is. Haruto becomes frightened, wondering how such destruction is possible. The hedgehog tells him the dragon will arrive shortly, and it is moving much faster than anticipated. They must defeat it at any cost. This is a monumental task because an alpha-level dragon can sense far ahead of its location, and its powers are immense. Haruto responds that if they don't defeat it, It will cause an apocalypse not limited to just one area, and many more people will die. The hedgehog confirms that this is exactly what happened in his future. Haruto, deeply surprised, thinks about the problem and decides he must speak to the Adventure Corps to get their help. This plan is fully supported by the hedgehog's explanation. Haruto claims that with a squad, they could defeat the dragon easily, or at least have a much better chance. The hedgehog answers grimly that they cannot defeat it with any squad because time has run out. As he says this, darkness begins to increase around them. Haruto looks up at the sky and sees the dragon looks utterly terrifying as it moves with incredible speed, passing directly over Haruto's head. In the school scene, people are initially unaware as they exit the building. But soon they notice the monstrous shape above. They cry out in disbelief, asking what a dragon is doing there and what they should do. Before they can react, the dragon fixes its eyes on them, begins its attack, and moves toward them. Their blood runs cold as they try to flee, but it is already too late. Meanwhile, the squad team arrives and orders everyone to get ready for battle. They move to intercept the dragon and attempt to stop its first assault. Haruto, relieved, thinks thankfully that the guards are present and will handle the situation. The guards activate their magic, creating a circle with multiple intricate marks designed to contain the dragon. 5 specific marks surround the beast and try to hold it in place. When they unleash their powers, the dragon is momentarily halted, but the effect is minimal. Their leader commands them to increase their power, shouting to bring the dragon to the ground and away from the school building. The circles release a massive wave of energy, causing the dragon visible pain. For a moment, it feels as though they have won and the dragon has been defeated. A blast occurs, and everyone believes the threat is over. The girl from the student council is particularly happy, thinking she has fulfilled her responsibility and completely defeated the dragon. But suddenly, her eyes widen in horror as she realizes the dragon has not been defeated at all. And the dragon unleashes a devastating attack, completely overwhelming the defensive efforts. The squad leader is thrown back, beaten, yet she finds herself miraculously unharmed. She thinks that nothing has happened to her and voices her confusion, stating that the attack was a specific anti-dragon spell, so why did it have no effect? She is deeply surprised, but there is no time to process this. The dragon conjures a massive, dangerous, and sparkly pink fireball in its mouth and begins to attack everyone. As the assault commences, immense damage is done in an instant. All the students and warriors are sent flying. Lying scattered on the ground, it is unclear when it happened or if any of them are still alive. Haruto witnesses this carnage and is terribly worried about what has occurred. In a moment of despair, he utters a very sad sentence, stating that this outcome was impossible. After all, he was just a student. The hedgehog immediately scolds him, saying there is no time for such talk and to stop making comments. The hedgehog then addresses Haruto directly and throws a strange pink liquid onto his face in an attempt to wake him up and spur him into action. Haruto, startled, shouts, "What are you doing?" Simultaneously, the nature of the dragon is explained. It is identified as Alora's dragon, a breed known for being extremely furious and migratory, never staying in one place. They possess very little intelligence, but they will relentlessly follow a target, meaning they can be led away. However, as soon as the dragon detects the unique essence of the liquid now on Haruto, it immediately shifts its focus and begins to attack him directly throughout this. The hedgehog remains steadfast on his shoulder, refusing to run away, proving he will fight alongside Haruto until the very end. It tells Haruto that he will have to be the one to defeat it. Haruto resolves that he will have to use his space and time power to defeat the dragon completely and finish the fight for good. Afterward, the scene depicts him applying the same liquid to his face as before, but this time his actions are filled with a new, profound confidence. He directly and assertively demands to know the name of the substance. Without hesitation, he reveals it to be dragon incense, a powerful lure that will irrevocably draw the dragon's pursuit onto whoever bears its scent. He elaborates that the one marked must act as a decoy, leading the beast away from populated areas to save countless lives and prevent a catastrophic loss of life. With the scent now on him, he declares with unwavering resolve that the dragon will hunt him. Haruto's face is a mask of calm assurance, his expression clearly reflecting his absolute determination to see this through. The dragon, reacting instantly to the potent aroma, pivots its attention and begins its chase. As Haruto starts to run, a familiar voice calls out from behind him, cutting through the chaos and snagging his attention. He turns to see Rain, who has been tending to their injured friends, and he realizes with a start that she has witnessed the entire exchange and now understands the dangerous situation. He quickly creates distance, and his future self, Hedgehog, immediately comments on his actions, surmising that Haruto's primary goal is to prevent Rain from becoming further involved and learning more dangerous secrets. Haruto confirms this, stating his firm desire to keep Rain completely separate from this escalating conflict. Hedgehog urgently advises him to run faster, all the while internally reinforcing the necessity of their battle remaining a complete secret, hidden from any and all witnesses. At that precise moment, Haruto activates his quick body ability, feeling the surge of enhanced speed just as the dragon continues its relentless pursuit. Haruto uses this newfound velocity to expertly navigate the urban landscape, deliberately steering toward a more isolated area like a deserted open field where the risk to others is minimized. The scene then transitions, following his frantic sprint down a long road, until they arrive at the Tokyo station located in the Nikken district. He finds himself in a barren, sparsely populated area where trains are infrequent, and he decisively declares it the perfect arena for their confrontation. Once they have stopped, Hedgehog halts as well and immediately begins to interrogate Haruto, pressing him to recall and relay everything he knows about the dragon's specific characteristics and unique features. Hedgehog explains to Haruto that the dragon is a dark element entity, one that completely obsesses over and utilizes dark energy. He emphasizes its immense power, stating that escape is impossible for anyone who crosses its path. Instead of blood, a substance called mycema flows within it, which moves its body and provides it with the greatest advantage, making its effects difficult to counter. He further elaborates that the dragon is extraordinarily powerful physically. Attacking it without a strategy would be careless and utterly ineffective, as the creature understands everything. As Hedgehog is explaining this, Haruto questions him, and the two are engaged in this dialogue while looking at each other, all before the dragon has even arrived. Hedgehog then confirms that the dragon is an absolute monster from 5 years in the future, and that it has no significant weakness, save for one: its intelligence is remarkably low. It was attracted by the dragon incense because its mental condition is very weak. Haruto, realizing the incense must be extremely expensive, estimates its value at 500,000 credits and demands to know where Hedgehog acquired such a sum. Hedgehog responds with a smile, admitting he withdrew the money from Haruto's own bank accounts. Haruto becomes furious, asking how he accessed the accounts, discovered the PIN, and who gave him the right. Hedgehog simply laughs, and Haruto remembers that since this is his future self, Hedgehog would naturally know all his personal information. He is very upset by this, but Hedgehog encourages him, saying that the rewards for defeating the dragon will far exceed the financial loss. He explains that while they will receive a small monetary payment, the true reward is a powerful blue and shiny box the dragon will drop. This box contains the ability to awaken a new space-time spell, which is the most important and beneficial prize for Haruto. Hedgehog concludes by noting that the dragon has not yet fully matured and is still weak. Hedgehog then advises Haruto to use his quick body ability to create distance and target the dragon's head, exploiting its low intelligence. He confirms that the creature's only real weakness is its lack of cunning, making it susceptible to a strategic attack. Haruto acknowledges the plan and activates his ability, racing toward the dragon as it charges. Using his superior speed, Haruto skillfully evades the dragon's powerful physical strikes. He maneuvers around its attacks, waiting for the right moment to strike its head. The battle continues with Haruto deftly avoiding the onslaught until he sees a clear opening. He launches a decisive blow directly to the dragon's head. Haruto identifies the core he must attack and launches an assault with his sword. However, the strike does not have the intended effect. He only feels a slight pain while the dragon begins to scream, seemingly unharmed. A strange smoke immediately starts to pour from the dragon's body, which Haruto notices with confusion, stating that this should not be happening. As the smoke envelops the area, Haruto is thrown back and falls, utterly surprised by this unforeseen development. He expresses frustration that he could not defeat or stop the creature. An explanation is then given that this is a chaos dragon, a being whose entire form is composed of Maya-sama. A warning is issued to pay close attention to this substance when attacking. Haruto responds that he will be careful and will keep a constant watch on this specific aspect of its defense during the fight. It is further explained that while the dragon itself is not intelligent, the Maya-sama is its spirit. The smoke that emanated from its body has the ability to materialize in various forms. The dragon lets out a powerful scream, and it is revealed that it can generate smaller versions of itself from this smoke, called legions. These small dragons, formed from the same smoke, now begin to attack. Haruto is shocked by this turn of events, questioning why he was not aware of this ability beforehand. Despite feeling a touch of fear, he steels himself, proclaims that the real fight has now begun, and prepares to face this new threat.